YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka the Crazy Uncle. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead and hit the doggone subscribe button, hit notification bell. Every time I post up new content, y'all gonna have to excuse me. I'm just trying to have a little bit of background noise my other before my friend Mr. Rambo Zach comes in. We're gonna talk about a few things today. A lot of this stuff that I've already talked about previously, but for the most part, I always like to try to actually really have um, a different perspective, from another point of view, you know, somewhat, it don't necessarily have to be the exact same thing, think on the same wavelength, but to actually like really have somebody else to really sit back and, you know, as the old folks say, chew the fat, with me. So just sitting up here now trying to get stuff situated, and hopefully before too long we'll actually like really get this show on the road. But yes, to actually really give y'all somewhat of an idea of what this show is gonna be about. Um, I, the title of it was "History Repeats Itself," and I got from 1990 to up until the present day. And the only reason why I said that is because around about that time frame, right, and 1990, if not earlier, right, that I actually like really started to start to pay attention to a lot of the stuff that actually like really goes on in the world. Whether it's with the United States government or with these other world governments, that are out there. So again, just like I said, I'm just actually like really just sitting up here. I'm waiting on my man to show up so we can actually really get this thing going. Let's see something like that there. I just hit him back. Oh, there he is.
My bad.
What's good?
I'm trying to get this going. Tremendous.
So here we are. I'm the crazy uncle. My man Rambo Zach. Where are you coming from now? You down in Florida or you back up in Oregon?
Live from the great state of Oregon, in the city of Eugene, Oregon.
All right. So just like I said, we talked a little bit earlier, and let's actually and I actually really titled this "History Repeats Itself" from 1990
Mm.
to present day. You know, and the only reason why I say it is because because of my age, and it's just for the simple fact that I've seen this same thing happen before. So, like I said, 30 years ago, it was with um, Kuwait and Saddam Hussein, and the thing then it was oil back then, and then here it is. You bounce it 30 years later. Now you got the Soviet Union with the Ukraine, and it's about oil. Now, just like I say, a lot of people coming in anything after 1995, right? Up and then you witness 2000, September 11th or what have you, going into the present day, and so
Hold on, you don't mind, dude?
no, go ahead,
Okay,
yeah,
just having a little soda.
yeah,
Go ahead. No, you're on a roll. Go
no.
right
So
ahead, sir.
uh, basically, what I was just saying is that anybody that was anybody that was born after 1990, right, and then with like the, I mean, let's actually like really just look at the timeline. So anything after 1990, so let's just say anything, let's just say from 1993, from 1990 on, right? Um, so let's just actually like really go down the timeline. So you got 2001, September 11th happened, right? And then not too much longer after that, the war actually like really kicked off, right? And so, just like I say, now anything dealing with, I'm pretty sure it's somewhat of a comparison of September 11th that happened before my time frame, right? But I'm just looking at the simple fact with the whole thing with Saddam Hussein, with Kuwait, and now, like I say, 30 years later, we're looking at the Soviet Union with the Ukraine. So, and then even beforehand, they're like, so yeah, I like to talk about, but I just want to like actually really have people say, hey, look, this is not the first time that this has happened. There's a reason why they say history repeats itself. Because again, they're like saying, people go and do your research, and then you be like, okay, well, hey, this has happened before. So I just feel like if people would actually really start doing that, um, not to say that the average person can actually really do anything about it, but it's just for something. Hey, okay, look, we didn't seen this before. We already know we finna be out of a whole bunch of money, as far as like gas prices goes, right? So just like an indication to give people, hey, look, this is what they gonna do. They done did this, and I'm pretty sure it was some type of pandemic out 30 years ago where it shut people down, just like the stuff that happened 2 years ago. Trump was in office. Trump actually really warned us about a whole lot of stuff that would go down. And I'll be damned if a lot of that stuff, if not all of it, has came to pass. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you laid it out quite nicely, and I don't think it's that complicated. I think human nature. Hold on, let me turn this thing off real quick. Sorry about that.
Oh,
That
no
probably
problem.
make the sound quality a little better.
Yeah.
Um, I thought you laid it out quite nicely, and you know, there's some very significant things happening today in this country. And if you're a viewer of the news, if you're a consumer of the news, if you are aware, if you have a pulse, you should look at this. It may not immediately affect your bottom line, your home, but make no mistake, things are happening. And what Apollos just laid out is what's going on. This is a continuation of a generational plan. They try, they try, they try, they try, just like, oh, I hope I could get into this college. Well, okay, you get into that college. What are they going to tell you? Their plan, basically. So, some things are, hey, David, um, I think the United States of America, as a corporation, as a country, is not messing around today. And I think people should take that serious. They're not playing around. They weren't playing around on 9/11. They're not playing around right now. And by any means necessary, they will take care of it. They will they will do what's necessary. And people don't seem to get that through their head. But if you're a student of history, as as Paulus was laying out, it's not that hard to see. They're not playing. This is not like some knuckleheads. This is the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, which I respect the man greatly. Great Secretary of Defense, alerting the world that dominance will be real. Like it's going down. This is not some sucker punch. This is come outside and let's figure it out. So you know,
You know,
everyone has a fair shot in the fight, but they're calling it how they see it, and I'm not opposed to it because I'm country first. Obviously, these people over here waving Canadian flags, Mexican flags, wherever you're from, and you're in America doing it. It's like, listen, this is the greatest country in the world, and they are going to attempt to be the greatest country in the world. That's what we're saying.
yep. You know, so but just like I say, that, and then I'm just looking at the simple fact, like with sometimes I'm looking at the simple fact, okay, like with all this stuff that's going on with Russia or the Soviet Union or whatever they call themselves today, right? This stuff going on with the Ukraine, oil prices, gas prices is through the roof, right? And then here it is, it's that the economy, whether it's here in the United States or across the water, a lot of people are actually like really just now starting to recover from the pandemic. Now, depending on who you talk to, a lot of people say, well, hey, well, this is the government's way of keeping track of everybody. They figure like, okay, well, hey, look, we gonna scare you. We're gonna scare you just enough where you don't want to go outside anymore, right? And then now that you're in the house, we're gonna keep tabs on you, right? But then here comes, the vaccine, because again, a lot of this stuff was going on when Trump was still in office. This like last year in office, and then he's telling, "Hey, look, we're gonna get the economy back up and running, up and running, up and running," right? And for the most part, it actually really it actually did, right? But now, like I said, it's almost like right when you get the wheels going again, then bam, here comes something else. And then, like I said, God forbid if you straight out of high school or you straight out of college, gas prices are through the roof, right? And just like I say, God forbid if you got to travel more than 10 miles to get to your job. With the gas prices like they are, and depending on where about in the country that you are, yeah, it's almost they forcing the hand for you to actually really stay at home at all costs. You know,
So
if you
we,
want to
so
work,
so we so we could set it up like this. We've all been children, we've all been teenagers, and we all know that moment where you're old, you're not too young, but you're old enough, and the parents say, "Hey, we're going to the store. Behave yourself."
yeah,
And the idea that there's not different behavior during when mom and dad is home, or when mom's home, or when dad's home, versus, hey, here we are. That's what you're saying.
yeah. So
Because this is run amok. And if we look at world history, if we look at geopolitics, if we look at the timeline, this is critical right now
yeah,
because they're running amok. Now, if you agree or disagree, I'm sure some good things are happening. Of course, they are.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that are happening that are not great. And it's dangerous. It's real world. This is not a game. This is not a video game. This is go to a safari and watch a gazelle get dragged across his neck,
Yeah.
right? That happens.
Yeah.
People are like, well, how do they feed the lions? It's like, well, he eats gazelles. And it's like, well, what about the gazelle population? And it's like, well, that's a different conversation. But if you really want to know the dynamics of it, that's how that occurs, and that's how nature works.
Yeah.
What we're watching now is really important because there's some things happening simultaneously that are critical.
Yeah.
And there doesn't seem to be a lot of like, I assure you that behind the scenes, they're having important meetings. Individuals like Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, I really like what he's doing. Because if you need strength, if you need leadership, that's who you look to. You're not looking to Joe Biden to give that address. You're looking for Lloyd Austin to give that address. And within the government, I hope, I assume, I can't tell you with certainty, but I assume it's occurring as well. But nature is occurring, and people should look around. This is not a movie, you know. What did David say?
Hmm. Oh wow. Well, yeah. I mean, well, there it is, right there. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The inflation, like that's what I'm saying. It's happening simultaneously, and that's on purpose.
yeah. I mean,
It's obviously, if you were a war planner, if you were a strategic planner, if you were a think tank engineer, obviously you would do it all at the same time.
yep. It's almost like
If you
it's,
could
it's
throw,
almost like a it's almost like
if
an
you could
op
throw
order.
the, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I'm just saying it's almost like an op order almost, where that you get the main title, and you got all of these subtitles that's that's happening that eventually is actually really going to take place. Just like I said, me and you both, we in our careers in the army, me and you both have seen a lot of op orders, right? Whether it was something that was already written or
A narrative.
yeah. So
Mhm.
so, so again, it was always like, hey, well, this is gonna happen at such and such a time, and then you always have to have your supply, your communications, the whole nine. And so, and it's almost like, okay, well, with all of this stuff that's going on, the war in Ukraine, the baby formula shortage, gas prices through the roof. I mean, it's almost like, okay, and those, it's almost like for those that are,
School shootings.
yeah. So again, so when all of this stuff is going on, right? It's almost like if you didn't know any better, you swearing. Like I said earlier, if you didn't know any better, you were swearing down that they don't want you to do nothing. They don't want you to go nowhere. They want to take the guns away from us. And just like that one clip that you showed me where the guy was saying, well, hey, look, y'all hollering about gun control, but what about those of us that actually really got sense? Yes, we have guns because for one, it's it's our right to bear arms. So it's almost like so you gonna fault everybody else just for over a select few, you know. So again,
It,
then
it's very obvious.
and then here in the state of Arkansas, they had some event I want to say that happened last weekend where people were actually like really turning in their guns. Law, listen, law-abiding citizens turning in their guns. I mean, people that at one point they actually really thought it was necessary to go buy a gun. But now with all of this stuff, with the school shootings, the stuff that happened up there in Buffalo, then in Texas, and then the whole country over, it's almost like, okay, I got a gun, so well, it's almost like, well, I don't want my gun no more, so I'm gonna go turn it in. I'm like, okay, so I'm just like, okay, well, who knows? Because I'm just like, okay, at least you're protected. You can protect your home, your family, and all your belongings. But now
What do you mean turn them in? Do they get money? Do they get something?
I don't know what it was. They might have turned them in for cash. I don't know. But it was something. I want to say it was like weekend for. I mean, yeah, I think it was last weekend or whatever, where people were actually really turning in their guns. Like no bullshit. These people were turning in their guns. You know, I
Well,
said Arkansas is a backwards ass state, but damn, come on now. You know.
turning in their guns. I don't
Yeah,
understand. Unless there's like a financial incentive, I don't understand what would be the point of that.
yeah. But remember, like a
I
year.
think I saw a headline. I don't know the legitimacy, but I saw a headline of they said they were giving people gas for guns, and I'm
Damn.
like, oh, this country's gone. This shit's over.
Yeah. So again, so I like I said,
And
I hope.
I'm not like a big like NRA guy or like I believe in the Second Amendment. I think it's appropriate, and that's where everything's been based on. But like common sense laws around guns, I'm all for that shit. Like, why not? Who cares? Just like anything else you do in life. But no guns. Okay, you'll see what they'll do next.
Yeah, know what I'm saying. And just like what I said, I know there's a lot of people, and then we talked about this before we actually went on live. We was all this stuff what Trump was telling us, and he was like, "Yeah, y'all like that $2 gas now." He said, "But just wait for the next one to come in, and then you gonna see $4 gas, $5 gas, $6 gas, or whatever, and then
And this dude can't even make it over the so. So let me get this straight. Our government currently has current bids, current contracts with Saudi Arabia with Boeing products. We're selling them everything militarily. They're our guys. We utilize the pipeline. Now all of a sudden, this dude has never been over there. He they announced a speech to Riyadh, and then they were like, human rights violation. You can't go there. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, who's saying that? A bunch of rich people who could afford $6 a gallon. And it's like the Saudis are like, they're not in the kingdom. They're not playing that. They'll shut that. They'll shut that water right on off.
yep,
They'll shut that oil right on off.
yep. So yeah, I mean, it again, it's like
Texas, Florida. Listen, Texas, Florida, Washington State. Those places are not going to have any issues with guns, David. It's the masses, and then they become infective, and then they're at Thanksgiving, and then they're at blah 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 blah, and they become the majority, and then they're going to vote on it. So it's a generational push to take this shit. In places where we live, it's not a big deal, but it's they're causing a problem, man. I'm telling you.
yeah, and it's just like what I said. It's just like what I said. Like when all this stuff started happening with the grocery store shooting up there in Buffalo, then it went down to Texas, and then now all of a sudden, Vice President Harris, now they want to bring
Who
up
is who is this person, by the way? Who is this? Like, with all due respect, who is she?
other than besides being the vice president. I really don't have no idea. I heard.
Well, you should look at the record. You should see what she did as an attorney general.
Oh yeah.
I
So
think the people of color in that community would like to see what Miss Harris had to do.
oh yeah, I've heard she was all part of that three strikes and you're out rule and just really just
She was vicious, just like Hillary.
yeah. So, but but funny, and just like when I said earlier, which actually like really goes along with the title of this show. History repeats itself. Now, back in 1994, they had they so-called passed a law about banning assault rifles, and then
Joe Biden passed it.
yeah,
It was
and
a
then,
10-year. It was a 10-year bill.
yeah, and then come to find out, that they had another law similar way back in 1968. So again, this is nothing. This is nothing new. It's
Hey, you know what else? Speaking of the '60s, you know what else is nothing new?
what's
How
that?
about Bay of Pig? How about Bay of Pigs? How about Cold War? How about the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Yeah,
Go
the Gulf,
ahead, sir.
the Gulf of the Gulf of Tonkin
Go.
incident. So
And then you see like, oh, Russia, Ukraine,
we
China,
go
Hong Kong, Taiwan. It's like, give me a fucking break, man. You there?
yeah. Hold on, let me bring. He got oh no, yeah, that's what he said. So,
What does that mean? I
but
don't even know what that means.
again,
Sorry.
no, because every time she's in front of the camera, she always grinning about something. So, um, but again, I'm just looking at this like, uh, with all this stuff that's going on, and then we talked about it, and some of it like you don't know if it's real. You really don't know if it's real or if it's just bullshit propaganda. I mean, because which brings me to my next point, like with the stuff that happened back in January 6th, with the whole so-called bum rushing of the White House or the state capitol or whatever. And then when the first time that I saw that, the first time I heard of it, okay, and then I'm looking at this footage, and I'm just like, okay, so out of all of the most secured buildings in the world, United States Capitol. Listen, the United States Capitol.
I would say that's probably almost number one.
Hold on. Yeah, it has to be. It be at the
We all know this.
whole people. And then they want to blame all this stuff on Trump. So I'm just like, oh, okay. All right. So this is, it's like, well, somebody has to be the scapegoat, I guess. And but the thing about it though is this: if you go back and look at the course of history, what they did in France, the people, they revolted and they got, what was it, King Louis XVI, got him out of there, right? So but I'm just saying, again, if you look at it, if you look at the
Across the
people,
Middle East,
people that
across the Middle East, if you look at
Yeah.
Hussein, Gaddafi. They tried to go in Syria, and the world was like, "Oh, that's enough."
Yeah. So again, I've always said that. But here though, like you can either go to the movies, go watch a movie or whatever, or you can come home, watch your favorite TV show, right? And you know it's bullshit, right? You know it's bullshit, right? But let the news come on, and now it's the real deal now. You know, so I'm just like,
When I
okay,
saw my man Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, give that speech, I went, oh, "Okay, I understand." Okay, they're
yeah.
going for it. Let's establish this
So
for the next 30, 40 years.
yeah,
My man
so
Lloyd Austin, the
I'm just like,
Secretary of Defense. I've never been prouder of a Secretary of Defense, by the way. That guy tells it.
yeah,
We've all been in units like him. Like, you know who this guy is. You know what he's saying. And it's
uh huh,
pretty, because like there's this joke going on within American culture that Joe Biden is like, oh, he's gonna fall down. He doesn't know where he's at. It's like, oh, that's cute. That's great. Let me tell you who does know where they're at. The rest of these motherfuckers in charge who are actually, shot calling. So it's like, be
yeah,
careful.
yeah. So I mean, at least
I was
this
proud of
guy,
his speech to see American leadership at that level within the Department of Defense. I was really proud to see that, and it at least
yeah,
gave me like, listen, within the inner workings of the military, everyone knows what they like the war plans are and shit what's going on, but like for him to publicly do that and to do it as professionally and as succinct as he did, mm, my hat is off to
yeah,
him. He served his country for his entire life. His life led to that moment, and he's defending the United States of
yeah,
America. And there are things changing in America, but make no mistake, America's relevance on the planet will resume. At least that's what our plan is now, and it was nice to see it like said with like confidence and power and professionalism. And good luck to the enemy. Good luck.
oh yeah, well, so, but yeah,
Uh,
I
it was
just
good. It was good to see that they couldn't have Joe Biden saying that. If you, no one would have took him serious. They're like, Joe,
yeah,
no, you're not Obama, you're not Trump, you're not Hussein, you're not 44, you're not 45, you're not George Bush, you're not coming out here and talking shit to these other countries. They don't take you serious, my man. So
yeah,
they don't take you fucking serious. Get the Secretary of Defense out there. And it's like, oh shit. It's almost like people had like a lapse of judgment where they're like, America's weak. Like he defines us somehow. It's like, first of all, you're not coming to America and doing jack shit. These people are out of their mind. Number two, there
yeah,
are people in command, in leadership that will tell you what's going on. That's it. And to me, it was
yeah,
alarming because I was like it was like a 2 minute. I was watching CBS Morning News, and it was like a 2 minute clip. Oh, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin it delivers remarks at blah 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 blah, and then it just went into, oh, and also last night the Tony Awards were happening on da, 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 and so I'm like, I don't think you understand what this dude just said. Like, like, holy
yeah,
shit! Like he just declared war essentially.
yeah. But that's the thing about it though. They they really you know, with the news, the, all what they do, they just brief it. Really, they act like it's almost like they want to tell you what's going on, but then again, they want to tell you what's going on with their own bullshit. You know, it's almost like what that one comedian said. He said, you know, it's almost like you know, you get on the news and the thing the most fucked up thing could be actually really be going on. And he'll say the newscaster, he'll come on like this. America's at war. And now sports. You know, and so basically I mean, like,
It's so true. It's so true.
that's just how it is.
Mm.
You be like, you know, it's almost like, you know, people, you know, people like we raised our hand, put on the uniform, we served the country the best of our ability. Some of us came home, some of us didn't, right? And and then you as the news broadcaster, you just be like America. And now sports, I'm like, well, damn, okay, that's it. That's all the fuck we get. You know,
It's like go brush your teeth, go to bed, everything.
well, I'm just
it's, it's
you know,
insane.
you know, it's um, it's like, oh, yeah, they'll be all right. But you get started, Celtics lose or Tampa Bay Lightning lose, and you be like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, people are dying. You know, people are dying for serving your country, and you worried about what the fuck the Celtics did. I'm like, come on now. I mean, because they lost the game. Guess what? They gonna be out 3 days, and they gonna be right back out there on that court. But let one of us make a wrong move, right? The game is over with. This ain't motherfucking Call of Duty. You know, you to get put in the box. You gonna get put in the box. Apparently, motherfuckers they don't care. This is what
Listen, you know what I used to tell a joke when you just said Call of Duty. So like I played video games probably from age
the
7 to age 12. Can you hear me, Kurt? You there? Hmm. Just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're having some technical difficulties.
news media puts out. You know, yeah, yeah. I'm just like, is it me? Is it me?
Kurt,
Or is it like,
you're Kurt. Can you hear me right now?
yeah, I can hear you. I don't know. It's
Your
probably
feed,
like a
your
delayed
feed is
reaction.
cutting in and out, in and
Okay,
out, in and out.
okay. I'm stuff that I did, and like that was like uh, it's like a 30-second delay. So I can one or two things. Like we could just end it here, or we can actually like really I can go clear up right fast, and then
Hello?
Can you? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was breaking
Apparently, we
out
have
pretty
some
good
audio.
there for a minute.
We have some difficulty.
That's okay. There's just some technical difficulties.
It's breaking up. It's breaking up. Hold on.
Well, in the meantime, what we could say is this has been a very intriguing conversation, a good conversation, and a lot of valid points being made. It's rapid fire, so it's going boom, 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 boom. And we could delve into them, into the comments and everything else. But Kurt will be here he is, Apollos. Can you hear us, brother? You're on mute. Can't hear you. I could see you. I could see you. Damn. Hmm. Just some technical difficulties. That's okay. It happens. Well, this is live podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody wants to see it. This is what it looks like, and I thought it's been a pretty good show thus far. There's no audio, zero audio. Perfect video, zero audio. Hurt. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to the technical glitches. There. Hey, the video's fine, Kurt. There's no audio, zero audio. I can't. I can't hear a thing. I have no idea what you're saying.